This ESPN podcast is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com.
The BS Report is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects. The BS Report. The BS Report with Bill Simmons.
All right, Rom-Com Week. We're doing a podcast, Wesley Morris, Juliet Litman. We're doing a podcast about all the people that didn't get the romantic comedy championship belt, or as we call it, the rom-com belt.
Yes.
There were some good contenders.
Some challengers.
That never made it. And this is an idea that was not quite good enough for Wesley and I to spend 3 days writing a column about it, but over
I would have done it.
Podcast.
I would have done it.
Well, maybe we still will. Maybe we'll get so excited we still will.
This is a good plan B.
So what we did on during Rom-Com Week, and if you're asking why we did Rom-Com Week, it's because it's late July, and who the hell knows what you have for content in mid-July.
Also,
late July, so
it's not totally bogus. When Harry Met Sally turns 25
this month,
it's convenient.
Yeah, and also, it's a real genre. We talk about sports movies all the time. Never really talk about rom-coms, the history of rom-coms, what makes sense, what didn't make sense. So with this championship belt, basically tried to craft what it would look like starting with Meg Ryan in 1989 and then going through who gained the steam, who was the most relevant, who was the most bankable, who was the biggest. Like if you were starting a rom-com from scratch and you could have any person, you would grab that person.
There's
so
only
in 1990,
from Meg Ryan
Julia
on?
Roberts. Right. Yeah. So 1990, you'd be like, I have a rom-com. Julia Roberts just made Pretty Woman. She's my first pick in the draft.
Yes.
And then it goes on down. Somebody takes the belt. Meg Ryan takes it back for Sleepless in Seattle, and it goes on and on. But some actresses never won the belt. And we're going to go through it. We're going to do a whole chunk of them and then save the one I want to talk about.
Well, should we say who the actual belt holders are from
No, people have to go to Grantland Arena.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
We're covering that on our website.
Go to the website, people. Sorry.
So I just want to talk about two people from the late 80s that I feel like never had the run they should have had.
Okay.
Yes. Juliet's excited now. Johnny's excited when you met Johnny Bananas. Elizabeth Shue.
Ooh. Interesting.
That's a good one.
So Rem was over on Saturday because he slept over our house. And
really?
We don't know if he has a home.
And Cocktail was on in the morning. And I of course, had to start watching Cocktail because I love Coughlin.
Do you watch it once a week?
No, it's just on. It's
what network
it's not my fault if it's on. It's Saturday at 9 a.m. If it's on, I'm going to be watching.
Your Cocktail intake might actually qualify for AA.
It's my favorite cruise.
There's a rom-com on every Saturday morning. Like
yeah.
Every
I was looking for something. I was going through emails. I needed something in the background.
Yeah, of course.
So Rem had somehow never seen Cocktail.
I think I've only seen pieces on it. I've never sat down and watched it.
He never understood how great Coughlin. He doesn't understand it's now a comedy. Like when it came out, it was basically a drama. Now it is a comedy on the line of Caddyshack and There's Something About Mary.
Yes.
Like it's one of the funniest movies on cable. Coughlin the bartender is out of his mind and.
It's
hilarious.
It's a jerky movie about a guy working at a bar.
It's all-time cruise.
It's great.
It's all-time cruise. He's never been more cruisy than he was a Cocktail.
Cocktail, Edge of Tomorrow. That's your.
There you go. The book.
That's all you need.
Perfect cruise.
That's all you need.
So Elizabeth Shue is in that movie. Mm-hmm. And she comes in, and Rem was like, whoa, what? Oh my God, she's beautiful. I'm in love with Elizabeth Shue.
Elizabeth Shue, 1990? Or what year was that?
88. Yeah, it was like 88, 89.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, first of all, she was in Karate Kid. Everybody my age loved her from Karate Kid, even though, she was a little babyish and a little baby fat, all that stuff.
Right.
Cocktail blooms into this woman. And then is really never seen again. And eventually becomes... Well... I mean, she comes back with Leaving Las Vegas, but there was this whole career she didn't have, so why didn't she have it?
Because she's not as good as the other options. So think about 88.
Okay.
We're still in Diane Keaton territory as far as romantic comedies go. You've got
Diane Keaton, first wave.
Second wave Diane Keaton.
Right.
Oh,
so she's at
first
three
Annie
waves.
Hall, now her second wave.
This is second wave Diane Keaton in the 80s. And so your belt holders then are like Goldie Hawn. I mean, they weren't really making
post Goldie Hawn. Yeah.
They weren't really making romantic comedies. They were all women in the workplace comedies that happened to have men. So you had Working Girl, you had
Do you
Private
think Working
Benjamin.
Girl's a comedy?
Of course. Sorry. For some people, it might be a tragedy or a drama or something. But no, it's.
I don't know what it is. It's just peak Sigourney Weaver.
It's a screwball comedy. And
You're right. So Melanie Griffith was in that space.
Melanie Griffith,
Goldie
Jessica
Hawn
Lange,
left.
and Tootsie. I mean, you had, or Tootsie was about. It's a woman in the workplace comedy.
Yeah.
So that was your romantic comedy in the 1980s, and so Elizabeth Shue. It's funny what she became after Cocktail and Leaving Las Vegas, which sort of made her seem like an actress. She wound up playing a lot of she was miscast as like doctors and scientists and that
nuclear physicists.
Right. Playing too smart.
She was and it's not even that she's not smart, it's that the movies were asking her to be sort of laughably underqualified for parts that need a lot of qualification.
So the possible Born Too Soon comes around 10 years later?
I still don't think she could compete with the people who came after her. Okay. She just came around in a really good gap.
What's your take, Juliet?
It's hard to see how she could have taken down Meg Ryan or Julia Roberts, but only because they were so good. Like, those movies are so seminal. It's impossible to recast them.
You and I love to do There Could Only Be One.
Market corrections, yep.
Market correction. Meg Ryan was Elizabeth Shue's market correction.
Absolutely,
there could only
because
be one.
in 88...
She hates Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan
She stole her career.
87, 88 was the beginning of Meg Ryan. She had left the soap opera. She was in Inner Space. And in 88, I believe...
Don't forget Top Gun.
She was in, Top Gun. And I think,
Elizabeth Shue easily could have been Goose's wife in Top Gun.
Definitely.
Oh, easily. Super easily.
1,000% easily.
Yes. And then Harry Met Sally next year changes everything.
Right. Okay.
We were saying earlier today, there's also no one else like Sally Albright, the When Harry Met Sally character. So, it's hard to imagine anyone else even in that role at this point.
Yeah, and Meg Ryan was the best role for her.
Yes.
The other one from that era who kind of fell through the cracks was Kelly Preston, but I think that's because she couldn't act.
But
she's never been that likable.
For my generation of horny guys in the 1980s,
she was sexy.
She was number one. We were all in 1,000,000%. Mischief, Secret Admirer.
Yeah. Secret Admirer. Forgot about that. That's
sneaky,
a good one. Have you seen that,
Juliet?
Good?
No, I haven't.
Oh, no, Juliet. Oh, no.
Love that.
Oh, you hurt me.
That's your movie.
Oh, my God.
I was just thinking that was kind of around the time that she was dating George Clooney. She really should have gone down there.
Wait, what? Secret Admirer?
No. Yeah, she dated George Clooney.
Peak C. Tom Howell and peak Lori Loughlin. Peak.
Yeah.
I got to see it.
Radon Chong was another one of those. But we're talking about, the problem is at some point you're talking about, is this person girlfriend in a comedy material, or is she star of a romantic comedy?
Can she carry?
Right. And what we're talking, Kelly Preston, Shue could have if Julia Roberts and Meg Ryan never happened.
They were in a car accident.
Right. And we have this pile of romantic comedies that need to get made. We got to do something. Elizabeth Shue.
Kelly Preston.
Strap on.
Are Elizabeth Shue and Kelly Preston too hot for romantic comedies?
Kelly Preston probably was. Because even in For Love of the
Kelly
Game.
Preston, yes.
I think Elizabeth Shue maybe is too classically pretty. Because
think about
she wasn't prettier than Meg Ryan.
Think about also who we're not talking about who didn't get anywhere near these movies for whatever reason. And that's Robin Wright, who easily could have.
Well, but we know why. Robin Wright. She didn't want it.
Yeah, she didn't want it.
Yeah. Yes, this is widely circulated.
I've talked to Goldman about
this. Yeah, he said this. He told you this on this show.
Most beautiful woman he's ever seen in his life.
I would
not. She should have been the all-time biggest star ever.
She should have been. She wasn't. She didn't have the talent. She's one of those stars who aged into being a very good actor, but who was not 20 years ago that great.
She's also, in some ways, more beautiful now, I think. She's so striking looking.
Striking. And she has...
That's such a woman comment.
I'm sorry.
No, but it's true.
I didn't think
it's true. That's what my wife would have said the same thing.
She is more beautiful now.
She was that more beautiful than she was in Forrest Gump. Stop it.
I forgot about Forrest Gump.
Come on.
I think she's prettier in Forrest Gump than Princess Bride. She aged gracefully.
She's a coke whore, just maniac in Forrest Gump, and you're all in the whole time she's going to figure it out.
Yeah, the movie is no.
No, she'll be fine. She won't break Forrest.
It's shocking, actually, how badly treated
she's a horrible person in that movie.
It's not even...
Sleeps with Forrest, leaves?
She's going to
leave the next day?
She leaves Tom Hanks. Now, this is, that is the most blasphemous thing you could ever do.
I know.
Un-American.
And then stick him with your baby.
Un-American.
It is un-American.
Stays with the guy who
crazy hairy hippies slutty, hairy hippies. Like, they deserve to get AIDS and die. The movie is crazy. It's insane. It is the most.
When you rewatch it, there's some moments in that movie you're just like, who thought that was like a normal thing to put in this movie? Like when she runs in the water to him.
Across the reflecting pool?
Across the mall, the National Mall.
Jenny!
It's such a weird moment. Such a bizarre corruption of history. It's really weird.
Also, he doesn't even give the shot its due. Do you remember like how that shot? Zemeckis shoots it like it's like a comet shooting across the sky. It's a wide shot.
It's really weird.
And it's from a weird angle because it's from like basically the dais as opposed to putting the camera in the water or giving you you seeing Tom Hanks running toward her. It's a long shot that isn't even that interesting.
It's just
anyway,
really
it should have been great.
It was really weird.
The scene when he runs across country and back 7 times is you could almost take away the Oscar.
What about with the shirt?
When I need to go to the bathroom, I did. When I was hungry, I ate. It's like, what? You just ran for 2 years? What are you doing?
No, the movie is
weirdo.
It's kind of a
all right, so yeah, those were the 3 that fell through the cracks. So then we go into the 90s. Juliet takes off.
Yeah.
As predicted by young Bill Simmons in the late 80s after seeing
Mystic Pizza.
Yeah.
That was on TV this weekend.
Who is that girl?
Yeah. Oh, you know who?
I want to meet that girl.
Her market correction, Julie. I mean, they were in the same movie, Satisfaction. Justine Bateman. They were pushing.
Oh yeah.
Justine Bateman, if you recall, was supposed to be like a thing.
Right.
And then Mystic Pizza.
That's a horrible movie that I've seen 12 times.
Mystic Pizza?
No, Satisfaction.
Because they're all it's
all
from
1988
It's a cute, disturbing band movie.
Yeah, but they're really good-looking girls.
Yes, they're all really cute.
It was great. It was on cable all the time. So now we go into everything seemed right in the early part of the 90s. Bullock had her rise. Meg Ryan had a nice little run. Roberts was in a few. Who's the other one that was in there?
Well, also Hugh Grant in Four Ways and a Funeral.
Okay. So now Aniston's on Friends.
Yep.
Which 94, 95 first season of Friends, all-time most spectacular beauty performance for me for a television show.
Her on Friends?
Yeah. I would have, if you said you can be with Aniston, you have to kill somebody, nobody will ever find out. You just commit one murder, and then you get to date her for 6 I would have been like, who? And what do I use? What weapon do I use?
I will tell you, I have never. There are a couple TV characters I have felt the way that you. I feel the same way about her on that show. I feel like that's what America. That's what America.
The hair.
Also, she's so sympathetic as the waitress. She comes running in the pilot, I think, where she's like wearing the wedding gown. She's like just left from her wedding or whatever.
And Ross was like screwing it up, but then all of a sudden she liked Ross, but then he's going on the plane. I was like, oh my God, you're gonna screw up with Aniston. What are you doing, Ross?
But it
never happened for her with rom-coms.
Because you can't take the thing that she had on TV and turn that into movie stardom. Because think about what Rachel really was. She was a spoiled rich dummy who was openly okay with being spoiled and rich and not that curvy.
And curvy.
And at the time curvy.
Early curvy before she stopped eating and just sustained on cigarettes and coffee.
She was wearing the crop shops all the time.
Right.
Loved the little waitress.
She was spoiled, she was dumb. And she didn't care. She liked being shallow. She just wanted to like.
That was kind of the character.
Yeah.
She's a parody of a shallow rich girl.
But she was smart enough to give the performance a little bit of intelligence. But she also had 5 other people to bounce that off.
Yeah, I was going to say, she really got a lot of setup lines.
And the problem with the movie star thing is that she's not somebody who can carry a movie that way.
Or she just picked bad movies.
Well, it's a combination of those two things. But think about, picking bad movies, a movie star is immune to a bad movie. Like, think about how many bad Goldie Hawn movies there are. Or how many bad Julia Roberts. Julia Roberts made no good movies maybe until, like, the Robert Altman movie that she...
Goldie Hawn made...
Forte was like... And that's not even good. That's just a good director.
Right.
Julia Roberts... Dying Young.
Yeah.
Flatliners. This is before Pretty
I liked
Woman.
all of these movies.
But they're not... Look, okay... I don't know.
There's no bad Julia Roberts movie.
Are there also any Jennifer Aniston movies you like?
Well, Mr. Goldie Hawn, like, seems like old times was a terrible movie. I love that movie.
But they are
Goldie Hawn
movie
is so
stars in
freaking
that
cute,
movie.
and Chevy Chase has never been better than
They're movie stars in that movie. The best romantic comedy, one of the 5 best romantic comedies ever made, Shampoo. I mean, Goldie Hawn is just Goldie Hawn, but she's got so much to do. And Julie Christie
has a lot to do. She was before your
time,
time, but she was like the first super cute one.
I saw some of the older ones.
I mean, Shampoo
she was very, very charismatic.
Great 8-year run.
Yeah.
Oh, she was. I mean, if we were going back to 1974, she'd have the belt.
She'd been the first pick in every draft.
She played dumb really well too. Like she played kind of like ditzy in a way that was believable,
but likable. Goldie Hawn is I think the paradigm for all of the like post Meg Ryan women. She's the thing that, like, not, and it's funny because she's got all these heirs, none of whom is actually Kate Hudson, oddly. Like, Kate Hudson was never, only when she got desperate was she going for Goldie Hawn.
Have you ever seen Something Borrowed?
Of course, the worst, it's the, like, negative Shampoo. It is one of the worst movies ever made.
So you don't think Jennifer Aniston could have Goldie Hawn's career with the right choices?
No.
Because I don't either.
No,
I think I'm with you.
Because she doesn't have what Goldie Hawn had.
Could she have been a Private Benjamin?
Yes, Jennifer Aniston would have been a great. That
would have been a good Private.
I think
that would have been good.
Making Private Benjamin. Well, now I don't know.
Too late now.
You can't do it with Aniston. You do it with Emma Stone, but you remake Private Benjamin in 1995 with Jennifer Aniston. Her career is totally different. Friends ends in 1997. And it ended in what, 2000s?
No,
2004.
Friends ends,
10 years.
Friends ends in 97.
But don't
remake Private Benjamin with Jennifer Aniston in 1997 or.
I do wonder though with these people if they get too famous and then it's hard to buy them in a rom-com when they're playing like some scatterbrained architect.
Well, in Picture Perfect, she works at like an advertising agency,
the Golden's mustard account, right?
Yeah. It's the most appalling movie. Per your recommendation, I watched it. You're like anti-recommendation.
It's fantastically awful.
It's one of the worst movies ever made, and
it's unbelievable that it got made.
Awful.
Kevin Bacon,
so bad.
who sucks
Kevin
the
Bacon's
life
like
out
a
of
rapist.
Yes, it's
like,
appalling.
Here, I made you a hypnol daiquiri. I thought you'd enjoy it. Please have it.
Also, it's like we're told she has a job, but there's no proof whatsoever Jennifer Aniston ever works or like does anything productive.
This is the thing that happens when, by the time you're in like the 1990s, the problem is that feminism is pretty much has begun to make what romantic comedies were really about, which is a fight between men and women for equality in both the workplace, the home, and the relationship. So,
and it, as implied, the bedroom.
And as in the
but could never cross the line.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the 1970s, you had no romantic comedies really, and the romantic comedies you had were about things bigger than the romantic comedy itself.
Do you count Annie Hall as a romantic comedy?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
It's like a prehistoric rom-com.
That is pretty much the only. I mean, you had what Woody Allen was doing, which was sort of taking the sort of classical principles of screwball romantic comedy and putting them in places that you would never expect them to be, like the future. Like Sleeper, for instance, is that in the future.
But Tootsie was a rom-com.
Tootsie was the 82, and it is a woman.
It's a prehistoric rom-com.
It's a woman in the workplace romantic comedy.
Right.
That is also structured like a 1940s screwball comedy. And so you have, it's really a Rosalind Russell or like Barbara Stanwyck movie with Dustin Hoffman as Barbara Stanwyck fighting for like her place in the workplace.
Top Gun was a rom. Between Maverick and Ice.
That was the beginning of the. That's
Tom
like
Cruise and Val Kilmer.
Beginning of the bro comedy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so anyway, by the time you get to Aniston, the romantic. I mean, it's sort of the thing that romantic comedies are about are over. Like we have proven that men and women are equal, right?
So now it's just about putting the woman in the most goofy situation possible. Taking somebody who's really pretty but can't find a boyfriend for whatever reason because of her work or
it's always
family.
work.
Yeah,
always work.
It's always work.
Or some principle, like we'll go through the list, but when we get to this person, we'll explain like why she was so bad for the genre.
Just a quick note on Picture Perfect, though.
Yeah.
She's beautiful. This is peak Aniston.
Yes.
Never looked better ever. Can't find a boyfriend, has to pay somebody to be her date for a wedding because of some sort of nebulous, I need to have a date for my wedding.
It's like her pressure from her mom, I think, basically.
Was that what it was?
I think that was part of it.
You can't go to a wedding single?
This is old school pre-feminist mom telling post-feminist Aniston that in order to be considered, a classy, dignified lady, you have to go to a social event with a man.
Right.
I think she has like a crazy thing where she
for work. There's a work reason though, isn't there?
Yeah, but also she stays over at like some guy's place in the beginning. Oh, it's Kevin Bacon, I think, isn't it? And she's not at home, and her mom's calling her, and it's like pre-cell phone, so her mom shows up at her apartment because she's like terrified. Like, what happened to you?
Yeah, I like that old school news school world of rom-coms.
No, I mean it is a real tension, and once the tension is gone. Well, I mean, we'll let's keep going.
So that was awful, and I highly encourage anyone who likes watching a movie with their spouse or girlfriend or college roommates or whatever to rent that one because it is an atrocity.
Object by Affection, which she was also in, was also horrible.
But that's
even worse.
It's more offensive because
it's more appalling.
She has this she falls in love with Paul Rudd, her gay roommate, and she's pregnant, and he starts dating someone, a guy.
But that's not fun. It's just more. That one was more like offensive.
It's incredibly offensive.
That one.
It's in the rotation right now on HBO or something.
But
so it's been on a lot.
That's what you were left with at that point. You had like Deborah Messing basically making the same
wedding date.
the same thing that
my best friend's
she
wedding.
empties out her 401k to buy a man.
That's the wedding date, right? With Dermot Mulroney.
Yep. It's like that's appalling.
I forgot. Well, in Deborah Messing's case, I mean, she was no 1996 Aniston.
No,
but I could at least believe it a little better.
She was lovable on Will Grace.
No offense, Deborah.
But Deborah Messing also had talk about born in the wrong time.
Yeah.
Deborah Messing 50 years ago would have been the biggest star in the world.
Yeah.
And she is born. She's working in the 90s. Is great on the show. But then what else? What else?
You know who we left out in the 80s? Shelley Long.
Well, yeah.
Cheers was an ongoing rom-com with laughs.
Right. Well, it's funny.
Night Shift was a rom-com set in a brothel.
And so by the time we get to the 2000s,
you just got that one.
Yeah. Okay.
Did you ever see Night Shift?
No.
You should see.
Oh, Night Shift's an all-time classic.
Yeah.
All right. I have like a lot of watching.
That made Michael Keaton's career.
Yes.
It made him like a megastar.
Yeah.
Within a couple of years.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, all right.
And Henry Winkler. Oh, let's keep going.
Night Shift
so, Cameron Diaz.
Yes.
I watched There's Something About Mary recently.
It's not a good movie.
Well, but the thing is, it was so cutting edge at the time, and it doesn't feel cutting edge now because Apatow took everything that happened in that movie.
Like all the gross out stuff.
It's still
at the time,
funny, and it is still funny though.
I'll tell you, in the theater when you saw that movie, it was a seminal moment. It was like, oh my God, this is the best comedy in like 6 years. Like that was everyone's
also the
reaction.
Experience of watching a movie. I've never ever had this before. Where like the audience
is like rolling and
literally,
and also you're so uncomfortable.
Doing cartwheels in the aisle. Like they had never seen a funny movie before in their lives. It was
the sperm in the ear scene
I know.
was like in the theater was like almost caused a riot. Like people were like.
It was still like one of the most famous like comedy moments from that era.
Yeah, I don't think they get enough credit for how advanced that movie was. Like now, it's like it seems like pretty common.
Forget the semen in the hair. The sequence, the cutting sequence of in the early part of the movie where Ben Stiller goes over to the house.
Oh, the best.
And winds up in the
best
ambulance.
10 minutes. Yeah.
That is one of the best sequences I have ever seen.
Warren gets mad at him because he touches his ears.
I love Billy Wilder and Preston Sturges.
Brother is great.
Could they ever make that movie now?
Yeah, nothing can touch that.
It's great.
Those 10 minutes.
That movie, and Cameron Diaz is like supposed to be the ideal woman.
Yeah.
Like she's hitting baseballs and she's got the special needs brother.
Hang.
She's playing golf at one point, but pulls it off.
Yeah.
Like you left that movie and you're like, that's gonna be a massive, massive, massive star. Which you kind of felt that way from My Best Friend's Wedding. I did.
You know, she won the LA Critics Best Actress Award for that movie, right?
Well,
My Best Friend's Wedding?
No, for
Something About Mary.
Yep.
I'm with Goldman on this one though. I thought that movie should have been nominated for an Oscar. It was so far ahead and beyond what any comedy was like. That just proved they will never nominate a normal conventional
They'll go
comedy.
out of their way not to nominate.
So
also for Ben Stiller, that was like a big. I feel like he started doing his awkward guy shtick with that movie.
That kind of created.
Yeah, it started the rest of his career.
So the rom-com, the success to a rom-com actress.
Yeah.
I have to be attracted to her but you cannot be threatened by her.
Yeah, you can't be threatened by her.
You could want to hang out with her.
You have to identify with her. It's kind of like if you're like a pretty bachelorette, but not too pretty. They have to.
My wife will just be out on like, nah, I don't like her.
Who's she out?
Why not?
I think Aniston's kind of like that. You're like when you watch.
My wife doesn't like Aniston.
Yeah, like when you watch Picture Perfect, you're like that would never happen to her. Like it's ridiculous.
Oh, interesting.
And like she just doesn't.
Well, and you know what? She pivoted.
She wouldn't be klutzy like that.
She started to make. She got out of that like
good girl,
hapless girl, and she became this hard luck woman who wound up in situations with men.
Right.
And so she was no longer making workplace comedies. And if you think about Horrible Bosses, it's like it's that whole thing turned upside down.
I kind of like her in Horrible Bosses.
Of course you do. That movie's atrocious. And what she's asked to do
I hate that movie.
appalling.
It's offensive.
I hate Horrible Bosses.
It's a terrible movie. But if you think about how she winds up there and winds up being the best thing in it, actually.
Yeah.
Was she though?
I thought so. I mean, that character is horrifying.
I don't think there were any winners.
Offensive.
There were no winners in that movie.
No winners.
That was like the Knicks season.
Did the sequel come out already? Did it come and go?
No, it's coming.
There's
it's
a
coming.
sequel to that crappy movie?
Coming.
It's coming soon, right?
Jesus.
Yeah. It made a ton of money, Bill. A ton of money.
Charlie Day is very annoying. I don't like him.
I never answered the question. So Diaz.
Yeah.
You threatened by Diaz?
Kinda. She's very beautiful and she's tall.
You mean at
she's
the
like
time?
Striking. Yeah.
Right.
I think she's like.
Because I don't think my wife was in on her until Timberlake dumped her. And then she was kind of vetted at that point, like she'd been hurt.
This is the Aniston story, too.
Yeah. Aniston.
This is the
She's
all
brought
women
down
went on
enough.
Aniston
Yes.
after Pitt.
Yep. This is the
She was the
Aniston-
big winner secretly. She didn't
Definitely.
realize
It's
it.
like,
That bought her another 12 years.
But if you think about what?
No, she just. I feel like when they kind of get a little bit older, you're like, well, they've gone into a new phase, so it's easier to like sympathize with them and like root for them, hope their career keeps going.
Like Dwayne Wade right now.
Yeah, sure.
Not a superstar, but you kind of hope he can get there.
Yeah. Good luck.
Good luck, Dwayne.
But I feel like the thing about Aniston is that she got out of the office. She got out of workplace comedy.
Yeah.
She started to make these. The movies became more successful when they were about not so much her looking for a man, but they were about people she'd already been with and realized she couldn't be with anymore.
Or like movies
like Brad Pitt.
Vince Vaughn? Seriously, no. I mean, think about it.
It was all reaction.
All of her hits, all of the movies that actually were hits that she had a lot of like non-starters like that.
I think that she course corrected, or she started her course correction with the Office Space.
Yes.
When she's playing the waitress.
Yes.
And
it's basically
like,
Rachel takes a new job where she wears the flare.
She's really good in Along Came Polly.
Yeah.
Which I'd never seen until recently.
That was a lot later, though.
You don't like that movie?
Terrible. That's one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Come on, good Phil Hoffman.
The shark thing is funny.
I think
that's
it's so gross out. It's kind of hard to get past
scene.
that. Like if you don't like that gross out stuff,
I don't
also
know
have to believe. Like, what is her job in that movie? What's her function?
I don't know.
Is she a
vet? I
hooker?
think was she like. One movie was she a veterinarian?
Oh no, she wasn't a veterinarian in that movie. She was the receptionist in the Adam Sandler movie.
Oh yeah,
that was the most crazy thing. How is he the dentist or whatever he is, and she's the like assistant?
You talking about Just Go With It, the movie where he's trying to get with Brooklyn Decker?
But that movie made so much money, and
I liked that movie. I watched it on a plane. I'm really sorry.
It was in that class of movies where she was now the victim, or like the loser in a relationship.
She was the older woman.
Right. She was the older woman in that, and when she
and also they put glasses on her, so it was like, she wears glasses now. We can all like her.
It's a
and you know what? She looks great in her glasses.
Total mess.
But think about it, for 5 years she couldn't find a dude after Brad Pitt.
It's true.
And that's what
that
all
was
of
like.
but then that's what
it was
all
sad.
Yeah.
I felt really bad for her.
She was going to hire somebody to come to a wedding.
She was the sad single lady who needed to get Jason Bateman, like his sperm, inside her to have that baby, and that.
That was horrible
movie.
too.
The change.
I like Jason.
Not the change
yeah.
up. The change up is the other.
Switch.
The switch.
The switch was terrible. I still think Diaz. I think Drew Barrymore. This is my theory on Diaz. Barrymore sniffed her out as a rom-com rival and pulled her into that weird Charlie's Angels
ruined it
movie
for her.
and kind of like sapped her mojo from it. Diaz couldn't bounce back.
I think
And then
that's a tough
Barrymore
one.
snuck in.
Drew Barrymore, it's a lot easier to relate to. She's got the crazy childhood.
You're not threatened by her at all.
No, not threatened by her at all. She looks normal. Like she looks like someone you like, not like
drinking when she was 10.
Yeah, she's been through it all. So like she's like, but by the time she hits the rom-com, she's like on the other side of her in craziness. So like you respect her. It's like good for you. You're finally in like a stable part of your life. Right. And then she's like in The Wedding Singer with Adam Sandler. Yeah. She's just tremendously likable, and like you're just like rooting for her to get out of that bad relationship.
But it's not just that makes Drew Barrymore a star. Like, think about what other women weren't doing at that time. They weren't actually funny in the way that Drew Barrymore was naturally funny.
She's very charismatic.
As funny as Adam Sandler was in that movie.
But she was never hot. There was only one movie where she was hot. Do you know what it is?
Don't say E.T.
Oh, God, that's horrible.
Podcast over.
Oh, my God.
The cops are coming to take Phil away. Now Juliet and I are just going to talk.
I'm going to say 1994.
Poison Ivy.
No, that was like...
I've never seen
about
that.
Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy.
No, Mad Love with Chris O'Donnell.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
they had a Mad Love.
Yeah, no,
she was crazy.
Chris O'Donnell should have been a bigger rom-com star. He should have been like a Hugh Grant.
He tried.
He did really try.
Sometimes it doesn't take.
It doesn't take.
She was great in Mad Love. It was right there in the stretch when I was attracted to crazy women almost exclusively. So I was like, this girl's really crazy. Her parents are like, you got to get her back because she's got to go back to the hospital. I was like, I'm in.
She was like, seemed dangerous in that movie.
She was dangerous.
Yes.
Oh, I loved it. I was so good.
But you didn't really buy... The reason those movies weren't hits, though, is because you didn't buy her doing that.
I guess. But one thing about like the 51st Date stretch is I think we said she never really got the belt at that time. Like it was...
No.
She was still like... She was part of a duo with Adam Sandler where he was still kind of number one.
Well, Fever Pitch, same thing. It was like she was with people that you could never actually see them having sex.
Yeah.
But, it's like I saw Fever Pitch and I was like, these two would never even make out.
Maybe, but she is so good in that movie.
In Fever Pitch.
Yes. When she winds up on the field in Fenway Park, it's like, I don't know. I was saying to Chris Connolly earlier today, like, it just makes my heart so happy.
She's
like,
I don't like that movie.
That's the biggest fight we've ever had. I don't want to talk about it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not a good movie.
Sucks. I hate it.
I'm not saying the movie is good. I'm saying she's really good in the movie.
I agree she's really good in the movie.
She's so good in that movie.
I hate
She
that
had like
movie.
the very similar scene in Never Been Kissed with Michael Vartan.
She's also really good in that movie.
That movie is ridiculous.
Also, are you hearing what we're also talking about in
What?
these conversations?
What?
None of these women ever gets a man as good as she is.
No.
And this is why
Michael Vartan's great, though.
Right, but come on. This is why we're talking about the also rans at this point. I mean, none of those women ever got a man who was as interesting as they were. I mean, forget being put in a scenario that makes sense for them and all that stuff. A lot of it is there's just a lack of star chemistry between the woman and whoever the man is.
That's why Hugh Grant is so good.
Hugh Grant is the best.
And Clooney, if he had done more rom-coms.
He thinks he's too good for that.
I know.
And probably the material.
He sucked in One Fine Day.
I mean, but that script was terrible.
I loved One Fine Day. I've seen it
You
like
did?
20
Okay.
plus times.
Hold on, we got to keep going. There's some other names. Paltrow was too much of a nice queen.
Also,
But it didn't start out that way. Think about where she was before she won the Oscar, where she was right
Where
after
was
the
she
Oscar.
before?
Shakespeare in Love.
Before the
Count
Oscar.
to Mr. Ripley.
I mean, come on.
a great movie.
But that's after. Ripley's after.
Ripley was after
Ripley's
Shakespeare in
after
Love.
Shakespeare in Love.
that's a really good movie.
She one more. I love Count to Mr. Ripley.
The
Count
acting
Mr.
is so
Ripley,
good in
she's
it.
great.
She's
Everybody, but think about this.
Hoffman's the best, though.
In 1998, that was like, I mean, I don't know what draft year you want to go with for this one, but think about it. Damon, Blanchett, Jude Law,
Hoffman.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, and
Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Tommy.
Are you kidding me?
It's amazing.
Tommy.
It's amazing.
How's the peeping? How's the peeping?
I mean, if you, like, think of 5 stars who aren't stars yet that you get in your movie.
Right.
There's not even remotely possible that
you know what's weird
wind
is
up with those 5.
she's the one was a little bit like that, like the junior version, because
Yeah.
it had
Yeah.
Aniston.
Oh, yeah, that was
Diaz,
another one, yeah.
One of the
There's-
Burns.
And Ed Burns was still...
Ed Burns.
I mean,
Maxine
he was
Baines,
still-
but there was one other really. Leslie Mann.
oh, she was in that?
Yeah,
I
and
forgot.
somebody else is in that too. There's like 4 like early vintage ones of that. I may have
No
That's a good
Mr.
movie.
Ripley, but but pretty good.
Mr. Ripley was a great movie.
It's a great movie, and
it was the most
beautiful.
interesting Damon performance.
Oh yeah, I mean everything.
Damon became another person in that movie, and then eventually he just decided to start playing Matt Damon.
Yeah, but
he was creepy. Like he's never played creepy
super
before.
Creepy. Like creepy in a way that I don't totally know if I trust him in real life.
I know, like he can play that creepy.
Super creepy, Matt.
But he went down that road in other things. I mean, like The Informant, he was. I mean, he's tapped into that aspect.
He's also kind of creepy in Ocean's 11 in a more subtle way.
In the first one?
Yeah.
Well, I agree
and also in the third one too.
In the third one,
with Ellen Barkin.
Right.
But like
that
in the
stuff with
first
Ellen
one,
Barkin is great.
So like uncomfortable a lot of the time, and he's like when they ask him to like be kind of like the pawn. I don't know.
I mean, I like those movies for our purposes too because each one of them has. I mean, there's Clooney and Pitt. That's some good romantic comedy stuff.
Definitely.
Then in the second one, you've got Zeta Jones and Pitt, which is fantastic. Like
I forgot about Zeta Jones. I gotta write her down.
Don't bother writing.
I'm just gonna write her down.
She got too good and yet was never
too
really
old.
good.
She's like 60.
She was. Oh my god.
Her birthday is allegedly my birthday. There's no way we're the same age. She is 8 years older than I am. No way. She's 52 minimum.
She does seem like she always had the like an old soul carriage.
What was her first?
Because she was old.
First big movie,
Yeah.
Zorro. I mean, is that?
Wait, hold on. We got off track.
All right.
Paltrow. Could you have seen Paltrow in The Wedding Planner?
No, absolutely not.
Like nothing slapsticky, funny. I can't say her being funny.
She's always been
anymore.
like so upper class.
Think about what really ruined her career. It's not what began the real end of her.
What?
It was the Flight Attendant movie.
Oh my god, I forgot about that movie.
What was that one?
I forget what it's called. It was.
Did I block that out of my mind?
Yes, it was called View from the Top.
Yeah, View from the Top.
She played
I didn't remember
dumb
this movie.
flight attendant.
Oh no.
Really bad haircut.
Kelly Preston, Gwyneth Paltrow, and shame on me for not remembering the third person.
This sounds horrible.
It's a
I've seen it on cable. I've seen it on cable.
It's a Dermot Mulroney-ish sort of person who is the victim. Dermot Mulroney is the victim in all these romantic comedies. Like he is the object victim in all of them.
Bad
That's
acting.
the other problem.
He really held my best friend's wedding back.
Yes.
It's so miscast.
She's so good in it and like just so magnetic. It's hard to believe she'd go for him.
Roberts?
Yeah.
We can talk about that movie in a
Can I
second.
make a second Dwayne Wade analogy?
Yes.
It was like watching Dwayne Wade on the 2009 Heat. She's like never been better, and she's like just killing herself in these Dermot Mulroney scenes, and he is just a zero.
He's like, oh.
He's such a loser. Cameron Diaz is too good for him too. She's so like bubbly and great.
Yeah, it's like, come on. I don't know what guy could have been in that spot.
But
there had
that's
to have
just
been
it.
somebody
It's
better.
not about the guy. Like that movie is so much about Julia Roberts apologizing for leaving the genre and trying to make The Pelican Brief and then trying to make Mary Riley and doing all these serious movies.
If they kept the Denzel sex scene in Pelican Brief, we think about that movie totally differently.
Like this, like
How do they cut
certain
that out?
areas of the country would have burned, but it would have.
It would have been the OJ riots all over again.
Right,
It was the whole country would have collapsed.
No, people would have gone crazy, but it should have happened because
We should write a piece about that.
What about the LA
How they cut
riots
that?
of the
No.
Pelican Brief?
How they cut that out?
Yeah, no, I mean they
Just like
totally.
what-
Did they even shoot it?
I thought they shot it.
I don't know that. I don't know. I can't. I don't know.
I thought they shot it.
We can ask.
That'd be a fun one to do.
But I mean, I feel like, yeah, you can't. Nobody's putting their hands on Julia Roberts.
Lopez
Denzel.
does
she
Wedding
tried
Planner.
Wedding
and
Planner is great.
The Maid in Manhattan, and two of my wife's favorites.
Yeah.
Lopez has always felt like she was.
So her and Matthew McConaughey, I really like that movie.
They had it.
Like,
You don't think they had
not
it or they
believable
didn't?
at all.
Oh.
At all.
What do you mean?
I just couldn't. It did not seem like an actual couple to me. Matthew McConaughey and her in The Wedding Planner at all. Although they did a really good dance scene together.
Wesley disagrees, though.
I feel like McConaughey is so sexual
I just like
that he warps whatever failure you have to believe him in another woman. Like every movie that he's made with a woman, I'm just like, fine. Fine.
There's one though
He's just
where
not
that wasn't like.
Oh, I know where this is going. You're going to say Failure to Launch, aren't you?
No, Jody. Contact.
Oh, but that doesn't count. We talked about
How does
this.
it not count? You said every movie. And
Because that movie is
No.
ultimately it's not about.
I'm just not every movie.
No, yeah. All right. I can't argue because you're right, and yet it's a different.
Only Mel Gibson.
It's a different problem.
Only that anti-Semite Mel Gibson could pull it out.
And melt Jodie Foster's heart. Yeah.
He had a couple drinks in him and just kind of got her going.
It's true.
In The Wedding Planner, I feel like Jennifer Lopez is acting in a different movie than everyone else. Yes. Like everyone's like on the same.
I like that you used acting. It's like an occupational hazard for you, I'm sure, to say that in Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah, that's what she said. She said it.
Very sweet,
She's appearing in a different movie than everyone else. Well, I don't know. She just doesn't seem to be on the same wavelength, literally, as anyone else that she plays a part. Like with her dad, with her intended Justin Chambers from Grey's Anatomy. Yeah. Like everyone is doing the same thing except for her.
The problem with J-Lo, I mean, wait, first of all, where are you?
There's a lot of problems.
What are your issues with Jennifer Lopez?
I thought the most interesting movie she ever made was obviously Out of Sight,
yes. Yeah.
which she was excellent in.
Yeah.
And
it made
Selena.
me rethink. I forgot about
For
Selena.
our purposes, Out of Sight, yes. But Selena,
She was good.
the end of that
She was
movie,
good in Selena.
before you know what's happening is
so
going to happen,
sad.
she is so good. Just like, and not talking about acting, I'm talking about being in front of a camera, like a person who brings everything that they have and can give you an audience in the audience. She is all of that. She's so great.
When I think about J-Lo, though, like people always gravitate toward Diddy and Affleck and then Mark Anthony and just her blowing up and just the celebrity of her. But if you'd like stopped her career after the Selena movie, Out of Sight, and what was the third one she was in right around? Oh, she was great in Money Train.
Oh, yeah? She had that
J-Lo.
great scene at the bar with
J-Lo.
Wesley Snipes.
All the dudes were in on J-Lo in the
Remember that?
mid-90s. Yeah.
Vaguely.
So if you
That's
just
really
stopped
long
it
time.
right there and you're like, what's going to happen this later? I'm like, she's going to be one of the biggest.
Oh, wait, but Money
stars
Train
ever.
was before.
Money Train was first.
Yeah, Money Train was
Money Train
before.
was first. Selena was second. And then Out of Sight, it's probably still Clooney's best performance. And they kind of pulled it out of each other.
the two of them. I mean, they were.
Maybe, what was the Hawaiian movie? He's really good.
The Descendants.
He's really good in that.
I'm not that big on
I don't love that movie, but he was great in that.
It's just high rewatchability.
The best Clooney movie, especially in this context with Catherine Zeta-Jones, Intolerable Cruelty, not the best Coen Brothers movie, but the best best screwball romantic comedy that sort of focused on two people and a situation I've ever seen. That came out wrong. In the last 20 years or so, not ever, but they're so good together. Like Catherine Zeta-Jones and George Clooney.
So maybe the key was just to put him with people with some sort of Latino bent.
No,
those were the best two chemistry things for him.
she's Welsh.
Yeah, I think she's Welsh.
Who is Zeta-Jones?
Catherine Zeta-Jones, yeah.
She's like Spanish.
Yeah,
There's
she's
probably
Welsh.
something in there the way there's something in me.
Yeah.
She's Welsh?
Yeah.
Yes.
How did I not know that?
Because they
We had
never
the
let her
same
use the
birthday.
accent. They never let her use the
I
accent.
thought she
Her
was
and-
like from Portugal or something.
No,
Her and Christian Bale, they're really
I'm an
representing for
idiot.
Wales.
I can't wait till people make fun of me about this. I'm fine. I'll take it.
It's okay.
Kate Hudson was never a good enough actress.
No.
Oh, wait, we should
Well-
finish with J-Lo.
Well, I just was going to say about Jennifer Lopez that I think that she never really took anything seriously enough to commit to it.
I agree.
Like, imagine if
wanted to
she
be
had
super
actually
famous.
committed to being in the movies.
The craft of acting.
Yeah.
Didn't cut that record in 1999. I mean, granted, I would have probably done the same thing if I were her too. Like, it was, you had to. She was the most famous she was ever going to be in the late 90s and early 2000s.
I
And there
don't
were all
agree with
these-
you, though.
What do you mean?
I think she wanted to be a music superstar. Like, I think she decided
Instead of being
an
a movie
actress.
star. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not saying that.
I think she used the
You're probably
acting
right.
to
Yeah.
further the music.
Yeah, because she's
You're saying her priorities.
To her detriment, she's really committed to being a pop star, and it has
It's
not
like how
gone well.
Juliet uses Grantland to actually push her podcast career, which is her true passion.
I heard that about you, girl. You're just using.
I'm just using what's been given to me.
But J-Lo, by the time whatever was second between Made in Manhattan and Wedding Planner, I thought all of us
Anaconda?
given up. We were just all
Where was
giving up. I was
Anaconda?
like, this
That
is
was
never
Anaconda.
happening. And she made enough, which is actually probably her second most interesting performance other than Out of Sight, where
Yeah, but
it's like the Sleeping with the Enemy ripoff, but she's got to learn to fight. She cuts her hair. She's got to learn
That
how to
wig
fight
in that
back.
movie's a
She gets
travesty.
in awesome shape.
yeah, no, it's bad.
I like when women are in peril in those situations where there's like an evil guy coming after them, because I love Sleeping with the Enemy.
Sleeping with the Enemy is great, but it didn't require Julia Roberts to go to the gym. You know what I mean? Like, it was really...
She's never really done an intensive physical.
No.
She's never needed to do that.
Yeah.
No.
She's enough from the old school to not need to fall into the physical trap.
Have we ever talked about Sleeping with the Enemy?
I don't think so.
Do you like that movie?
Yeah, I do.
Do you like it?
Yes. I saw it at the right age. I've seen it since and been like, they made this?
I haven't seen it in a while.
It's a fantastic rewatch. First of all, it's now a comedy.
Yes. It is, yeah, that's the thing about it.
Every line that the creepy husband has...
Oh, Patrick Bergen, who was
as funny as anything in There's Something About Mary at this point.
It's like, and you know...
Are you provoking a quarrel with me, my dear? He is a f***ing maniac.
The mustache is the thing that does it.
Oh, he's got the creepy mustache.
He's got the creepy mustache.
Laura! What the hell is wrong with that guy? He's so creepy.
But do you know what they do? They give her Kevin Anderson, who is like the cleanest.
The beard
face.
with the mullet. Yeah.
Oh, he's got a beard in that movie. That's
he starts
great.
out. He's singing the Jets. What movie is that with the gangs?
The West Side Story.
He's singing West Side Story in the backyard and gardening.
Yeah.
When you're
he's
a Jet.
so promising. And like, so what happened to Kevin Anderson?
He made that priest TV show.
After?
He made the
he
TV show where he's the
things.
Adulterous priest or whatever that was, and that ended like his career.
I left that movie like
before its time,
completely baffled and yet totally in love with her but mostly Kevin Anderson.
Really?
Oh, Kevin Anderson. When they
you like mullets
right
in the
before
90s.
right before like crazy Patrick Bergen shows up and they do the Van Morrison thing together.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's so cute and warm and like it's shot in a way that like something bad is about to happen.
What year was that movie?
1998. 1991.
Okay.
I love all
1994.
movies. I love all movies and TV shows where people get away from this terrible previous life they had and start a new one, but
Double
the old
Jeopardy?
life might come back.
Ooh,
I'm all in on all those. Yeah, I like Double
I
Jeopardy.
love Double Jeopardy.
Double Jeopardy.
One thing about The Wedding Planner before we move on, Bridget Wilson, she could have been a romantic comedy star. I don't know why she didn't get other movies.
Something was missing with her.
It's like we're talking about there are too many other options at that point.
Yeah.
Too blonde.
She was too generic.
She seemed like and was like too happy to be married to Pete Sampras.
Yeah.
I almost felt like she was married.
Right?
Yeah, they are, but it was always like I felt like she milked it in the Wimbledon box a little too much.
She definitely did.
She wore a lot of weight. I mean, she didn't even have to.
She's like, I am in on the Wimbledon box.
She
Keep
was like
showing
the
me.
proto Brooklyn Decker. Like Brooklyn Decker, a couple rom-coms
Oh
and
yeah.
out.
But Brooklyn Decker is good.
So Lopez squandered it.
Yeah.
Kate Hudson showed up, just didn't have the chops.
I've never
No,
been
I don't.
How to Lose a Guy.
That's not it with Kate Hudson. Kate Hudson did have the chops.
She has one good movie, Almost Famous.
Okay, I'll give you.
She's really good in it, and it's a great movie.
Be careful.
I don't dislike it. I just don't love it.
be
as much as
careful.
other people do. But whatever.
careful.
I didn't.
Don't you know what it's like to really love something, Wesley? That's what Almost Famous is about.
Yeah.
Oh, I have no heart. Basically.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you.
I'm Lester Bang.
You don't
Yeah.
believe.
I'm just a
You probably don't like Field of
critical-
Dreams either.
I do like Field of Dreams, so take that.
All right, that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
But seriously, forgetting Almost Famous, Kate Hudson had the thing. She's funny. She's smart. But
She's not proven that she's smart.
Okay.
I don't know if I believe in the funny or the smart, but keep going. What other qualities do you think she has?
I think the problem was she kept, and she's bitchy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the movies sort of decided that she's just going to be bitchy, and they gave her nothing charming to play ever. So really, in these romantic comedies, in every single one, she's the villain. She's really just like she's a crazy villain.
What was the one with Anne Hathaway? No, not Anne.
Bride Wars?
Bride Wars.
Oh my God, that is the apocalypse.
That's a sad movie.
It's the sad. I mean,
It's like just
That's
depressing.
a women hate each other movie.
I
It's
do
your
not.
premise is like women
It's
hate
not
each
even-
other.
it's not
No,
even-
they don't.
No.
but Juliet, it's not even that women hate each other. It's that they hate each other for what?
For getting married. It's just like it's the saddest thing. Like I hope that I never have that with any of my friends. I won't. Like I'm like just like in principle. Like
You
it's
hope
just
you never have
horrible.
a blood feud over a wedding with one of your friends? I hope so too.
But Kate Hudson, I just think she was done in by the material. I mean, there was just, I mean, she wasn't enough of a star. Like Sandra Bullock could have made Fool's Gold. She could have made How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. And she's
my girl. Like she's the best.
If Sandra Bullock had made those movies, they wouldn't have been better, but they would have been hits. And they would have been better for her having been in them.
I think Sandra Bullock, the most impressive thing she did was The Proposal, because that was like pretty recent.
She
you don't like
carried
that
the-
movie?
She carried the Ryan Reynolds carcass.
Yeah, she carried.
She carried all the carcasses in
All
that
of it.
movie. She was like
That's
this
an entertaining movie.
for 2 hours.
You didn't like that movie at all?
Juliet.
It's entertaining. It really is.
It is, but
She
it's
loves
so.
I love
Full
Sandra
of
Bullock.
Kool-Aid sugar.
This takes the woman in the workplace comedy to one of the most
I know,
depressing
it's dark.
places it's
It's
ever
a dark
been.
idea. She has to get married for the green card. I know.
Are you kidding me?
I know, it's depressing.
Dark.
I shouldn't like it, but I do.
And to Ryan Reynolds?
Yeah.
I mean,
That was before he completely dropped off.
This is the other thing.
That was, what, 2010?
You couldn't find somebody equal to Sandra Bullock. I mean, granted, the movie was a hit, and the reason it was a hit
Who
was
was equal
because
to her? Who was equal?
Hugh Grant,
Well, 2 weeks
George
ago.
Clooney,
I'm about to say George Clooney
Matthew
was perfect.
McConaughey.
I would like her and
There
George
are
Clooney.
Many movies with all
any
those people.
man in Hollywood who is a man.
Tom Cruise.
Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper now.
No, because Tom Cruise.
I was kidding
He
about
was
that.
joking.
Yeah. We hadn't worked a minute in a while.
We got to go back to the people we didn't cover, though, right?
Okay.
Oh, yeah,
Other
quickly.
ones.
I don't think Hudson's a good actress.
I'm not
that's her
gonna. I have no.
fundamental problem.
I have no proof.
I think Cameron Crowe pulled out. I think Cameron Crowe was at dinner with his friends after 3 drinks, and they're like, "Hey, what was it like to work with Kate Hudson?" And he's like, "F***ing terrible actress. I pulled out. I worked magic. We did take after take, and I pulled out the only good performance of her entire life." And I'm going to go to my grave knowing I'm a great director because of what I did there.
It's amazing that movie's as amazing as it is because she's terrible and Patrick Fugit is terrible too. Like he's not, I do not think he's very good.
He's gotten better.
I mean, Jason Lee and Billy Crudup are so good, but
I love.
The more we talk, the longer we talk about this.
Yeah, we got to move.
Sorry.
You're going to risk me saying something that's going to upset you both.
Garner.
It's not even worth talking about.
She's not there.
13 going on 30 is like a really weird, I don't know, time travel plus rom-com is really weird.
My problem with that
I'm not against it. I'm not against it. I just don't think it was executed correctly.
Mark Ruffalo was fun in that movie.
What a depressing premise. I mean, because it's different when you've got a movie about a woman who wants to be young, and you don't have the infrastructure to sort of make it. Like, that was basically a movie that was about a boy who wanted to be 13, probably.
Yeah.
And they switched the gender. And so they didn't do anything to sort of to pad how offensive this could be if you're a woman wanting to be 13.
No, she's 13 and she
wants to be 30, whatever. Like, it was a boy first, I'm telling you.
Like Big or whatever?
Whatever, yes. My number one problem with that movie is not Jennifer Garner, who is bad in it.
Don't say Mark Ruffalo.
No. But he's a guy you can...
Thanks.
Whatever. It is that you've got this budget. You've got a good music supervisor, presumably. You want to have a musical sequence.
You have a problem with the Thriller scene?
Oh my God! There are so many other Michael Jackson songs that make more sense.
Okay, but
You can't dance
The way you
to
make me
Thriller.
feel.
You
The way you
can't
make me
dance
feel
to
when it works.
Thriller.
but the point is they
All you-
learned the dance
I
and
know.
they did it.
I know. This is all you're doing to Thriller. That's not a dance party song. F you.
But the point is that
Don't even. Juliet, I know what you're going to say.
the point is, okay, let's just
This is now the most ridiculous podcast in Greenland history, and I've never been prouder to be involved in anything we've done.
I just want to say, as a teenager, I too learned some specific dances from music videos. So, like, if she's 13 going on 30, of course she'd want to be Thriller. She wouldn't want to be doing
That's a good point.
She wouldn't want to be
she
doing
flipped it
the
on you.
solo dance from Billie Jean.
My kids love Thriller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The runner-up that they should have done that would have been cooler would be Smooth
All right.
Criminal.
I'm-
'Cause that would have been really
I'm
impressive.
tapping out.
Dirty Diana might have worked.
Yeah, that would
You can't dance to that song either. Want to be starting something. That's the only choice.
Garner never worked out. Now we're
No.
coming to somebody that I don't feel got her just due, Amanda Peet.
I love Amanda
We
Peet.
all agree.
like
We
Amanda
talked about
Peet.
this before. We all agree.
Whole
that
9
Amanda Peet-
Yards, great movie.
So, A Lot Like Love is a guilty pleasure movie for my wife.
Interesting.
And when it's on, I might get into it too.
Wait,
so I
which
guess
one is
maybe-
that? Is that the one with the, that's
it's
the
Ashton
paternity
Kutcher.
problem?
Ashton Kutcher's only good movie.
That's possible?
Yeah.
I kind of like
It's what I like. What I decided is I like movies where people get older over time.
You mean like?
I like anything
the
where it's like
boys
they
club?
met when they were 19 and now they're 22 and now they're 25.
Yeah, like
now they're 28.
Like the Freddie Prinze Jr. Claire Forlani movie. Have you ever seen that?
That problem is Freddie Prinze Jr. was in it.
Yeah, but it's worth watching because they age.
Yeah. I like when people age over the course of the movie.
That's not a bad premise.
But
It's the premise of When Harry Met Sally. So.
yeah.
no, it's When Harry Met Sally with better music and not as iconic.
Yeah.
But no, it's really not a bad movie, and he's weirdly good in it, and they have chemistry, and I don't know.
She's so I love her.
Made me think her career should have been different.
It should have been different. Did you guys ever see that Nicole Holofcener movie that she made?
With her?
It's she and Emily Mortimer. Yeah, Emily Mortimer.
I don't
they
think
play
I
sisters.
saw it.
I'm going to forget what it's called now because I don't
know that one either.
I'm a shallow, bad person. It's Catherine Keener and Oliver Platt own a furniture store.
It's like I can't remember what it's called. I know what you're talking about though.
Being Good People or something like that. Oh my God, I can't remember Nicole Holofcener title.
We won't hold it against
Sorry,
you.
you've seen a lot of movies.
Anyway, the point is she's really good in that.
Yeah, she's great.
She's in the
She's
in
good in
the
the whole
ensemble.
9 yards. She was very good in the Sorkin show, and she got pregnant and ruined the show.
She ruined that show by getting pregnant.
That's
You're
the story I
starting
go with.
there.
That's the story I go with.
That's where you're starting.
No.
With Sunset Strip.
It had so many different problems, but when she got pregnant, then he had no outs on top of all the other problems he had. The show was done the moment that character got pregnant.
That's the right answer, Bill.
Yes.
She's the other half of my favorite celebrity couple, her and David Benioff, the creator or the showrunner of Game of Thrones.
Why do you like them so much?
Just incredible power couple. I just think they seem perfect. Like I
Any
just love
Juliet
them.
dinner party they're invited.
Absolutely. Like
And he should write her apart.
I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to like not.
By the way, if I'm
get
her, I'm like,
complicated.
dude, why wasn't that Queen Cersei? What are you doing? Lena Headey, or whatever her name is? Like, I couldn't have played that. I could have just popped in and out and
Well, the worst thing
had
is
sex with my brother.
Amanda Peet has to go to Northern Ireland for like a few months every year now with their kids because like he spends half the year there. So
Are they-
probably hurting her career.
This is the part of the Jennifer Garner thing too. Is she decided she wanted to be a parent.
I can't believe Catherine Zeta-Jones is from
Welsh.
Wales. I can't get over that. She's Welsh?
But you're not. But why would you know that? Do you know what I mean? You have no movie going.
My
proof.
top 7 picks for her all would have been South American countries that played in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Argentina, I could totally see it.
Argentina would have been a
She's got
she's
a
a lot of
Argentinian.
ethnically ambiguous people in Argentina.
She only used it in that Oceans movie, and she barely. I mean, and it was only vaguely. She was Interpol in that movie.
2 more. Rachel McAdams, but this was postmodern rom-com, like never had a chance. But I feel like 10 years earlier,
No.
Yeah, she
might
was-
have had a run.
She was adorable in Wedding Crashers. Like she looked
Yes.
beautiful. She's like clear faced.
I
Perfect look.
bought all the Rachel McAdams stock after
Yes.
that.
Perfect look for that.
Sana Latham, we haven't mentioned any non-white people other than J-Lo in this.
Because you know why?
Because
I mean, I have no grand theory. It's the classic one. That's just nobody cared. I mean, nobody who makes the movies cares. And there were no attempts. I mean, you would get like what happened was that
Halle Berry could have done it.
they tried when Halle Berry was at her best, when Halle Berry was at her most lovable. Mike Epps wrote a really great thing in New York Magazine when people were talking about their crushes. He had a really great crush thing that he wrote about 1990s era Halle Berry,
Ooh.
like early 90s,
Boomerang.
like early, mid, late 90s Halle Berry. Nothing better. She was fly. She had a little bit of attitude, but she was really sweet. Boomerang era, like Strictly Business.
Boomerang was early though. It was like 92.
92.
Yeah.
But I mean I think Boomerang killed that sort of like somewhat classical romantic comedy while also setting a standard in a weird way because it was dirty. It was sexual. It had a lot of tangents the way a screwball comedy would.
An unbelievable Robin Givens performance.
Yes.
Like she literally, the screen I saw that movie on, the screen caught fire. I had to bring
Godzilla
in the fire
5.
department.
It's Robin Givens. Look
put the
out!
scene. Oh my God, she was so good in that movie.
treats her so badly though.
I know, but she's so good looking in that movie.
I love Robin Givens. I want nothing but the best for her all the time.
You love her while you're terrified of her.
Yes. But, I mean, that was pretty
I
much
feel
it.
like Sana Latham could have been in a couple if anybody really tried.
She could
She had
have.
that one really horrible movie with Simon Baker. What was that movie called? It was like offensive.
Oh, she dates a white guy?
Something
Yeah.
new. So
something-
bad.
it was so
something
bad.
new.
It was offensive.
It was like, I'm an educated black woman.
Yeah.
It has never occurred to me to date a white man. I have never thought about that before. I didn't even know white people were available to date.
See, I really like that movie because Sana Latham had decided to date a white guy. So I was really into it.
Won you over.
Yeah. It was the exact, opposite problem. A black woman in Los Angeles has never considered, like a successful black woman in Los Angeles has never been hit on, contemplated dating a white guy. And they get my favorite scene in that movie. They go to the Magic Johnson Starbucks, and everybody in the Starbucks is like, "What you bring this white boy in here for?" It's Simon Baker. Have you seen this white boy? Who's complaining about bringing him in there?
I thought it was solid.
It's terrible.
I just like Sana Latham. I like everything she does, even the terrible Denzel movie.
It's one of the few movies written and directed by a woman that, I mean, we've talked about very few movies made by women in this conversation.
Well, the good ones,
a
lot of the good ones are made by women, like the Nora Ephron movies.
Yes.
Like a lot of the ones that have
the ones
that had the belt holders, the one that like put the women in the best light.
Nancy Meyers, the Michael Bay of romantic comedies.
Well, she's had a couple of big ones already.
Yeah, it's complicated.
The old
they're appalling.
Demo.
They're so evil to women. Yeah. What women want? The movie where Mel Gibson is going to think for all the women in America?
That's her biggest sin, though. I think.
I'm not the audience for those movies.
I think like it's complicated is offensive for other reasons, but not because it makes the women look bad.
No. I mean, that movie's a fantasy, but that's her best movie.
Yeah.
By a lot.
Alec Baldwin's really good in it, too.
So's, Alec Baldwin is really, really good in that movie. Anyway. Lake Bell totally gets a shaft in it, by the way.
Yeah.
Natalie Portman?
Our friend Lake Bell. No. What proof do we have that she's even qualified?
I don't know if she can do comedy, but Garden State was kind of
a depressing movie. I think Beautiful Girls might be the closest she comes to a comedy.
Oh wow!
I'm just saying.
It just got creepy.
I mean,
I'm with
that's
you
a creepy movie.
You know what? I love that movie. I actually didn't like the movie when I saw it in the theater, and then I liked it in the rewatchability of the cable. And it's like you kind of identify with the Tim Hunt character, like, I get it. Then I had a daughter. I watched the movie again. I was like, oh my God, he's a child molester.
It's creepy, but
somebody throw him in jail.
That's the closest she's come to comedy.
If my daughter was like, I'm talking with a neighbor.
Purpose. Well, she had Friends with Benefits or whatever, or No Strings Attached with Ashton Kutcher recently. Wasn't that with her?
No, it was Mila Kunis.
Are you sure?
Oh wait, sorry.
Mila Kunis and Justin Timberlake.
No Strings Attached. Yeah.
Ashton Kutcher and Natalie Portman.
That is a terrible movie.
Kunis. 10 years earlier could have been in a lot of these comedies.
No,
She's
Kunis is
great
your
at Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
I love Kunis. She's great at Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Great movie.
Kunis, though, it has the Michelle Pfeiffer problem.
What is that?
You don't really know where she go. Where does she go? Like, what do you have her do?
Would you ever be a lawyer?
Would you have her be your lawyer?
I don't know.
I see her being a mom. I see her committing to being a mom for a couple years.
As a movie star? No, in the movies. Oh. You see her playing mom?
I'm just saying right now, like I could see her being
What job would she have?
Off.
What job do you give her? Yeah. In a lot of ways she reminds me of some people that we work with professionally, like people who like publicists and like,
I thought you were about to compare her to a Grantland staffer.
That's a good rom-com idea.
Like a publicist?
Yeah, a publicist who falls for one of her celebrity clients. Has that one happened yet?
That is a good idea.
We can rate that.
It's a good one. Let's write that after we finish the podcast.
We're going. We gotta end.
Falls in love, knows he's a bad guy, but they're spending a lot of time together in a junket.
Or like, what about
a limo, and it's kind of getting a little flirty, and he's got the mean girlfriend.
Or
maybe Bradley Cooper. It's always Bradley Cooper for all these roles now.
Maybe she creates a fake relationship for him just for the press.
A beard.
But he's secretly dating her.
That's America's Sweethearts.
Is it? Is that what happened?
That's Catherine Zeta-Jones again. Oh my God.
Portugal's own.
That's
the pride of Argentina. Has there been a good beard movie?
Ooh. Well, I mean, like gay beard?
No, it was something about like
Cyrano de Bergerac? Like something like that? Like Roxanne?
Like something, time to time in Hollywood, people might marry their manager and pretend that's their real wife when they're not, and they get to do other things, but maybe the manager actually starts falling, and maybe the guy's confused, and I guess that would be a terrible rom-com.
Yeah, the deeper you
that went dark. That would be a dark rom-com.
I don't have anything that meets. I mean, America's Sweetheart is the closest. America's Sweethearts is the closest thing I can think that gets near that.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the last one. Because we're running out of time. Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Your favorite. We should just let you talk.
Yeah, go.
I love Michelle Pfeiffer.
What's your favorite Michelle Pfeiffer movie?
I'm glad you asked.
Look at you. Look at him. His whole thing has just changed. He's a totally different person. He just turned into a
Nashville right now.
I really like it.
This is so charming. I don't love anybody as much as he loves
Did you see Jillian on her
Pfeiffer.
37th birthday?
Well, I was going to get to that. So, Baker Boys, she's amazing.
Yes.
So, 1989 is Baker Boys.
Yes. 88 and 89 are the Michelle Pfeiffers.
Liaison, 88.
Married to the Mob is 88. Dangerous Liaisons. Lady Hawk is 86.
So we go
85.
but this is also, she also has the cachet of Hollywood Nights and Scarface. Total skinny Cocor and Scarface, but you're kind of attracted to her anyway.
Who is that crazy lady?
Yeah. So we're going into the 90s now. She's coming off Baker Boys, which is it turns out to be the best movie she's ever made.
Her Oscar was stolen
best
by
performance.
Jessica Tandy.
Yeah, she's great. And you come out of the movie and you think, that woman's going to own the next decade. Mm-hmm. This is her decade. It's going to happen. Whatever she wants to do, the world is her oyster. It didn't happen.
Did you write down the list of movies that?
Here's what she made, starting in 1990. Russia House, Frankie and Johnny, the Batman movie, which she's really good in.
Yes.
Love Field. Was that Dennis Haysbert?
Dennis Haysbert.
A little interracial 1960s, or whatever the hell that was. Age of Innocence, Wolf. All right, now it's gone bad. Dangerous Minds, which was basically a Coolio video.
Only if you saw the video.
By the way, I love Dangerous Minds, but we'll go back to that. Up Close and Personal, which is an awful movie where she just wears a lot of wigs, and her and Robert Redford have no chemistry at all.
It launched Celine Dion's American career more than anything else. That movie.
To Jillian on her 37th birthday, a movie I like.
Strong Peter Gallagher.
Great Nantucket movie.
Yeah.
Kind of identify with the whole theme of my wife's dead, I see the ghost of her. Like, there's some good Claire Danes.
So high concept.
Wild Claire Danes.
Very Nantucket-y movie, though. Like, I like Nantucket, so.
That's fine.
Claire Danes was a really great, like, angsty teenager, so that played
she's really good in that.
Her wheelhouse.
One Fine Day.
Love it.
I didn't like it.
I think I like it particularly because I grew up in New York. It's like all
1,000 Acres. I don't even know what that is.
Oh, that is one of the other few movies we've discussed that have been directed by a woman. That is that's based on, I want to say Jane Smiley, but it might be the other person who I always confuse Jane Smiley with. Anyway, it's her and Jennifer Jason Leigh and somebody who is in between the two of them. And I believe Anthony Hopkins, and they're all, it's like a King Lear.
Is it British?
Thing. No, it's American.
It sounds like a movie Harvey Weinstein might have bought.
It probably was.
Tried to push for an Oscar and it didn't work.
Who was the third actor in that?
I have no idea.
My iPad died. So then, 1,000 Acres, 1999, double whammy of Deep End of the Ocean, which is yet another horrible kidnapping movie.
Well, no, the kid died. Like, oh wait, no,
the kid died or came back.
I'm ruining the movie for everybody now. But Julianne Moore.
No, we're ruining the movie. It's 15 years later.
I don't think the kid dies. The kid doesn't die.
Oh wait, no, that's a different one. I'm confusing with the
back.
Sigourney Weaver movie about the same thing.
Yeah.
No, the kid comes back, and then it's creepy, and then like.
What am I?
It's really upsetting. He wants to go back to his job doctor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Treat Williams owns the Greengrass.
It
I
sucks.
forgot about that. It's very bad.
And then Story of Us, which ended Rob Brydon's career as a director.
That killed everybody.
Which is one of the most excruciating.
Bruce Willis.
Oh yeah.
It's an excruciating 9,500 minutes, whatever.
Yes.
And that's it. We're done with the 90s. That was her whole career.
Yeah.
So Batman was the peak.
Definitely.
Dangerous Minds, she's just radiantly beautiful and unbelievable.
That movie was a huge hit.
It's a huge hit.
People went to see Michelle Pfeiffer teach the Black and Latino.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I know.
And it had a great song.
And it had a hit song.
And Jillian, her 37th birthday was probably the most interesting. But then, like, she made What Lies Beneath in 2000.
Huge hit.
It was?
Not for her, but it was a huge hit.
One of my favorite Pfeiffer movies. It's a good one.
But it's so mean to her.
It's a good movie, though. I liked it.
I barely remember it.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. It's a good Harrison Ford. It's another one of those. Did Harrison Ford? What did Harrison Ford do?
Then I Am Sam in 2001, which ended the actors trying to play special needs or whatever characters to try to win an Oscar.
She's got a lot of movies with good soundtracks.
And White Oleander, and then it's over.
Oh my God, White Oleander.
Yeah.
Oof.
You know what's not on there?
Oprah books. Oh, she did a lot of Oprah books.
So no rom-coms in there other than One Fine Day.
Do you think if she was a little bit, or born a little bit later, she could be on a good prestige television show at this point? Like, is she someone who?
I'm glad you brought that up, because as I was watching Dangerous Minds, I thought that should have been her destiny. She should have been the lead of ER.
Yeah.
She was way overqualified to do it. Financially, it made no sense whatsoever. but ultimately she should have been like Ally McBeal or something.
Well, like Juliana Margulies, I could like in retrospect, I'm like, oh, why wasn't she in a romantic comedy? But she played it right by doing TV the whole time, basically.
Yes.
Like, and now she's had a great career.
She didn't even try to do movies, and I feel like
she did. I think for
she made
short interim
2 movies, neither of
she
which
was in the midst of Avalon TV movies.
She wasn't the star of those movies.
No.
Though. It wasn't like Deborah Messing.
Well, she's like Deborah Messing. She had very distinct features that on a 50-foot screen, all of a sudden you're just staring at them and picking things apart.
Right.
Whereas Pfeiffer's on a screen and I just pass out. I just lose all the blood in my body.
I find her face depressing now. Now that she's
Pfeiffer?
at work.
She's old. She's like in her 50s.
She looks like some botched plastic surgery.
Oh, come on.
I don't really see that, though.
Did you see Hairspray? Because I've seen it a lot of times.
Yes, okay. I'll give you Hairspray, but she's really good in Hairspray.
That movie is off the chain great. I love it.
She's really good in that movie. But
when was that, like 2 years ago?
2006.
You're not allowed to mail me plastic surgery before and after photos of Michelle Pfeiffer.
I'm not allowed to?
No.
Okay.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to know what's on the internet.
I love her, not quite as much as you do, but I do love her, and I think one of the things that you and I talked about previously is that she was born. There's no time in the history of the movies that makes sense for her. She's too hard for like the 70s. I mean, she couldn't
have played any of those Goldie Hawn parts.
She could have played all of the Faye Dunaway parts. That's about the best you could have hoped for her.
Interesting.
In the 70s.
She could have played Network.
She could have done Network. She could have done Chinatown. She could have done...
Could she have played Holly Hunter Broadcast News?
No way. No, because you need a kind of silliness that Holly Hunter has.
She also doesn't seem like smart.
Yes.
Which Holly Hunter does.
It's not that she seems stupid.
What about In Dangerous Minds? In Dangerous Minds, she almost saved Emilio's life.
I don't know. There's so many things we could say that would go wrong on this, but the thing about that movie was not that Michelle Pfeiffer seemed smart. It was that she seemed committed. Right. Teacher movies are never about how smart the teacher is.
Yeah.
Teacher movies are only about how caring and tough they are.
My thing with actors and actresses is, like, whatever, the wrong roles, things can go wrong in so many ways, but if you can have a moment in a scene, that's like half the battle. And I think the best actors, and now they try to write those into the movies where the quote-unquote Oscar speech or the Oscar scene.
Oh, right.
If your little 90-second monologue or whatever.
Right.
In Dangerous Mind, Emilio dies, and Pfeiffer goes and tells the class the next day, I don't think I'm coming back next year. And they're like, why? And she's like, I was never really supposed to do this, and blah, blah, blah. And the guy's like, but you told us never to quit, now you're quitting. And then one of the kids says,
oh my God, I'm going to
was it because Emilio died? And Pfeiffer's like, and just loses it for a second. And then she's like, maybe. But it's like, and you're like, and I'm sitting there like, I'm almost crying. I never like crying. I was like, oh, Pfeiffer got
Oh my God, you're almost crying now?
No, I'm not crying because I was pretending to cry.
Oh, okay.
But it's like, she had one of those movies that, like, I don't think Julia Roberts could have had a scene like that.
No, because the whole thing about Julia Roberts is how she would... Well, no. It's not that she's not a good enough actor. Julia Roberts' thing is how she's never wrong.
Right.
Oh.
I was just watching Erin Brockovich. That's a great point. And, like, she does have, like, some moments in that, but it's like she's
Julia
like
Roberts
fighting for a cause.
Never wrong.
That's
and it's always about... Julia Roberts is about getting paid and never being wrong.
Interesting. Because in Pretty Woman, she has a couple scenes where I don't know if she would have played those scenes the same way 10 years later. Where that, like, Gere just kind of
wins the scene.
Gere just kind of cuts her a couple times in a way like she let it happen because she was a young actress. But you feel really bad for her. Yeah. Like she's not in control. She wouldn't do those scenes, after that.
But what about Notting Hill? In Notting Hill, she's like the one who's wrong.
Yeah, but it's always on her terms.
But he still chases her.
Yeah, it's on her terms.
Not when she comes back to the bookstore and says, I'm just a girl standing in front of a boy asking him to love her.
That's not, I'm sorry. That's not, I'm sorry. That is, wait a minute, hold on. All right, fine. She's not sorry. She's not that she has to be.
It's true. Her life as Anna Scott is very hard.
Mona Lisa Smile, for instance, which is the class. Like, that's the Mr. Ripley of that. It's not good. It's terrible.
Is Maggie Gyllenhaal in that movie?
Yes, she's the best thing in the movie.
Kirsten Dunst is in it too.
She's also Julia Stiles, Kirsten Dunst, Jennifer Goodwin.
Julia Roberts is like their teacher.
Yes.
We didn't mention Kirsten Dunst in the.
She's off the map.
Crazy Beautiful.
She drank herself off it.
That's.
Come on.
She was great at Crazy Beautiful. That's all I got.
She just made some, I don't know, just not great choices.
child actress.
I guess.
But wait, so Michelle Pfeiffer could not do any of the stuff that Julia Roberts did. In the 70s,
Could she have been in the While You Were Sleeping?
No. She's too beautiful
she's
for the
too
token
womanly
mood.
For Bullet? For the Bullet part?
She's
way above Bill Pullman. You can never see her with Bill Pullman.
The thing about this, the movie that actually began to get people talking about her as a movie star was Witches of Eastwick. She was given to us as the equal of Nicholson, Cher, and Susan Sarandon.
Right.
She was the ingenue in that movie.
Yeah.
And so that movie is a huge hit, and despite its many problems, it's very entertaining. And the thing she does after that in the fall is Dangerous Liaisons, which is another ingenue.
Yeah.
She was billed to us as some kind of like young, innocent.
Could she have played Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct?
That is an excellent question.
What do you think?
I don't know.
That is an.
I don't think she would have done it.
Sharon Stone's more aggressive than her.
I don't think
Sharon Stone is more the thing about Michelle Pfeiffer in that part, right? She would never have.
Yeah.
She also would have had something in the contract saying, "No, I'm not doing any nudity. No part of me will be." She's been nude. I don't think she would have done nudity.
She has?
Tequila Sunrise. I'm pretty sure she's. I don't want to go down this road. I'm pretty sure she's naked in Tequila. She's been nude. Lady Hawk, I think too.
I support Al Pfeiffer, but I didn't like Tequila Sunrise.
Really?
It's a rough watch. It's pretty slow.
It's got a good script, and it's got really great chemistry with the three of them, and Raul Julia is fantastic in a stereotype part. But
who was her first husband before David E. Kelly?
Maybe I need to rewatch that one. There's the Fisher-Stevens weird man.
Yeah, I mean, there's... Look, we are not here to judge.
Is she still with David E. Kelly? She's still with David Kelly?
Yeah, I think so.
He should write a TV show for her. What's he doing?
It might be too late.
I feel like she did that movie with Luc Besson, and I was saying to you earlier, I feel like if Luc Besson was interested in making these Taken movies 20 years ago, he wouldn't have bothered with Liam Neeson. He just would have cast Michelle Pfeiffer.
That's a good point. She could be an action star.
She could have been one action
totally
thing.
Could have been an action.
Could she have been in Kill Bill?
She could have been. She could have been in Kill Bill. Yes.
She could have also had a more Angelina Jolie type of career. I think, Mr. and Mrs. Smith and Salt and.
Oh, that's interesting.
She totally could have done this because she's mysterious.
Also, Angelina Jolie is the only person on her beauty level.
She's hard and she's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I think
those are all Angelina Jolie things too.
And I think the difference though is that Michelle Pfeiffer wants to be vulnerable. She wants to be, but you just don't believe it. And I feel like the thing that Michelle Pfeiffer could do now is have a Tarantino give her something. But I feel like in the pecking order of people I'd like to see Tarantino give something to, I'd want to see him give it to Sharon Stone first, then Michelle Pfeiffer.
Could she have played Jackie Brown, the lead, the Pam Grier part?
Probably, but it's a totally different movie. It doesn't make any sense for what Tarantino was going for with it.
Yeah, because I was just trying to think of movies.
Yeah, she could have done something like that. I'm telling you, a Tarantino, a director who loves Michelle Pfeiffer. If you were a director,
I would have just spent months trying to find the right movie to come up with for her.
There's got to be, but
and then had multiple lunches. Multiple lunches.
You know what's interesting?
Michelle, we need one more lunch.
There aren't enough directors. There aren't enough men. There aren't enough women making movies, period. I feel like if there were more women making movies, one of them would be Michelle Pfeiffer meant a lot to me. I would love to try to write something for her that gives her something to do.
I'm glad you. Oh, good.
I'm not sure she's good of an actress, but what about some of Julianne Moore's parts?
Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
Oh, that's insane.
I think.
Could she have been Amber Waves?
You guys think that Julianne Moore is this great actress. She is a great actress.
I don't think she's a great actress.
She's not better than Michelle. I mean, she's not better than Michelle. They're sisters.
Also, what was that movie that...
They're equal.
The one with Annette Bening and Mark Ruffalo that came out recently? A couple of years ago? The Kids Are All Right.
Oh, Kids Are... Yeah, she totally could have done that, yeah.
She could have played the Julianne Moore part in Boogie Nights.
Yeah.
Alters her career.
Yeah, she could have been some strung out.
Could have been Amber Waves.
But maybe, I mean, they probably couldn't afford Michelle Pfeiffer in 1998. I mean, or 1997.
They had freaking...
Burt Reynolds?
Mark Wahlberg?
He was nobody in 1998.
He was started his career.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
They probably got it.
They were trying to get Leo. Leo passed. One of the great movie What Ifs.
Yeah, he would have done that movie now, though.
I guarantee he regrets it.
I'm sure he probably a little bit regrets it. But I think that Michelle Pfeiffer, I don't know what she turned. I know she's I think she famously turned down something. There's something I think she said no to. I don't know if it would have changed anything, but at the end of the day, she's still Michelle Pfeiffer.
How about the Helen Hunt part in As Good as It Gets?
Totally could have done that.
Helen Hunt and Jack Nicholson is like one of the least believable relationships.
Jack Nicholson and anyone was the most unbelievable relationship.
Except for like people like Michelle Pfeiffer. Like if you look at Eastwick is like the thing that he has with each one of those women in that movie is so interesting because it's different with each of them, and it kind of makes sense with each of them. And Meryl Streep is the only person, and it really wasn't about that with the two of them.
Sure.
But they work well together. Do you know what I mean? Like when they did Ironweed and Shirley MacLaine. I mean, people his own age. And the things about
in terms of endearment,
it's about
that
like
makes sense.
how he would never be with a woman as old as Shirley MacLaine.
I know, but they were good together.
They're great together.
Could she have played the street part in the Anne Hathaway movie?
The what part?
No, I don't think so.
Devil Wears Prada?
Oh.
You've been trying to recast. That's a standard for you.
No, Streep was great in that movie.
Yeah, no,
I don't think anyone would have been better than
No, I
Streep.
don't. But I mean, it's interesting that you've asked me that before too, and I don't have a good answer because I don't think anybody would have been able to do it.
She brings more authority than like anyone else. Sure,
but I think wisdom is something that Michelle Pfeiffer has come into, and I feel like there should just be somebody out there willing to take advantage of it. Whether it's to like make a romantic comedy or just to like give her a
let's
TV
get her on a Netflix show.
Right.
That's where I see her.
I mean,
she should be on Orange Is the New Black.
Could she have been the Robin Wright part in House of Cards?
Yes.
But not with Kevin Spacey. You then have to get an actor that she doesn't. You have to get an actor who seems less. She would just only heighten how ridiculous he seems.
I hate him on that show.
I stopped watching it.
Me too. He turned me off from it. I can't stand how he talks to the camera.
Frank Underwood.
Yeah, it's not really. It's just ridiculous.
All right, we got to wrap this up.
Okay.
I think we did all right.
Yeah,
we did all right. So we want the most for Michelle Pfeiffer of all these people.
I just feel like it was
still work.
It was a lost decade for her.
What could have been?
Yeah,
could have been a big middle of the road there.
Born in a weird time and didn't.
But we did come up with a movie though for her. She's a PR PR person. She owns a PR agency. She had to get back in the field.
Yeah, she got to go back to work.
It's a step down for her. She used to own the agency, got a divorce, husband took half it. She's got to go back to work. Now she's with this actor. Knows she shouldn't get involved with him. This is good.
This is your movie.
It's turned into a thriller, though. It has to become a thriller.
Like What Lies Beneath?
No, like Suspect or Jagged Edge.
Or like Double Jeopardy. I feel like she could have had that Ashley Judd part. I love that movie. I've mentioned it twice.
The best Michelle Pfeiffer part ever would have been Kate Nelligan's part in Missing. Was that the name of the movie? No. What was that? Without a Trace, the kidnap movie where Kate Nelligan's little son gets taken away.
What is that?
Early 80s.
Never see that.
Kate Nelligan.
Oh, Kate Nelligan. I love Nelligan.
That's the best Kate Nelligan movie. Where the have you been?
I can't believe you found a movie Wesley hasn't seen.
You never saw Without a Trace? Judd Hirsch? Judd Hirsch is the cop looking for the kid?
That was kind of a hit.
It was.
Not a huge hit, but I remember that. I never saw it.
But Michelle Pfeiffer being reunited with her son, which then she actually tried to do in that Deep Side of the Earth, but it was awful.
That movie's so bad. Ugh. And I like Treat Williams, too.
I hope if anybody is watching this conversation or listening to it and they had the power to get Michelle Pfeiffer a job.
How about this? She's married to David E. Kelly. He writes shows all the time.
You can write something
for show, David E. Kelly.
So let's
have you seen David E. Kelly?
I know, it's been rough. It's been rough the last few years. But he's married to Michelle Pfeiffer. How do you concentrate?
That is it. Okay.
Rom-Com Week, great land. Check it out. Wesley Morris, Juliet Litman, thank you very much.
Thanks.
We will talk to you later in the BS Report.
So I get to sign off. Whoa.
Thank you for downloading the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at Podcenter at ESPNRadio.com.
Peace out.
Geico presents Strange Savings Stories. Astronomers detected an interstellar transmission. It stated, Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. The implications were staggering. Was the cosmos telling us we could all save hundreds on car insurance with Geico? Or did their radar merely pick up a signal from the nearby Rufus and Clyde's morning show? We may never know.
Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.